Thank you, Professor Yo, for welcoming this year's participants. Our next speaker will be delivering the first keynote address entitled Building Supply Chain Management Resilience in the Deglobalization Age. He will be touching on evolution of globalization, consequence of US-China trade war, decoupling and decentralized, and strategy response to globalization 3.0. As the co-founder and executive director of the board of Advantech, Chaney Ho is in charge of the company's global sales and marketing strategies. He is also leading the company in its new branding mission toward enabling an intelligent planet. Under his leadership, Advantech has received recognition through the years from the prestigious brand consulting firm Interbrand as one of the top 5 Taiwan global brands in 2018. He is also an advisor to the Singapore Mentorship Committee. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you our first keynote speaker, co-founder and executive director of Board Advantech Co. Limited, Mr. Chaney Ho.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. My name is Chaney Ho. I'm the co-founder of Advantech, and I'm also the executive board director of Advantech. On behalf of Advantech, I'm very happy to be here to share my viewpoint about the manufacturing strategy in the deglobalization age. By the way, I'm also the member of the Singapore Mentorship Committee. I was invited by David to provide the mentorship to all the young entrepreneurs in Singapore. So originally, I think I can join this meeting physically, but unfortunately, because of the COVID-19, I only can attend by virtually. I wish someday, very soon, I can join you in Singapore and to share with you my viewpoint. Thank you. Okay, now let me share with you my slides. My topics today is how to build a resilient supply chain in the deglobalization age. Please allow me to introduce a very brief introduce about Advantech first. Advantech was established in 1983 at Taipei. Our current revenues is about very close to 2 billion, and our market cap up to date is about 10 billion US dollars. We have 8,000 more employees globally, and our main business in Industrial 4.0, IoT, and also smart city. Our mission is to serve our global IoT partner. So at this moment, we have 3 major manufacturing sites, one in China, and one in Taiwan, and one in Japan. And we have a sales office in 27 countries. And Taiwan is still our main base, our headquarters. Talking about the sales distribution, North America is still our biggest sales region with almost 30%, and come to second is China with the 24%, and Europe is 16%, and Northern Asia and intercontinental is about 19%. So we are quite global company. And share with you some of our honor. In Taiwan, we are ranked as the top 4, number 4, Taiwan top 10 global brand. And we are the number 1 in the worldwide IPC market share with the 34% shares. We are the number 1. And some of the, we are top 50 in Asia automation company by control engineering. Okay. And we have 10 R&D center in 10 cities globally, including North American, Europe, and China, and Taiwan. And in order to serve our end customer closely to the market, we have established 15 assembly facility in 15 countries, including Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and also Korea, Japan, and US. And this is show how our growth path in the past 20 years. So in the past 10 years, we have conducted a business transformation from the IPC to IoT to bring our market value to at this moment. So transformation is very important for a company to grow. Okay, so I'm very happy to be invited to give a speech to Singapore. And actually, Taiwan and Singapore have something in very common. First, these two countries are both a very small island country, but we also have a very big neighborhood. And Chinese is our major population. And these two countries highly depend on trading, especially import and export. Although we are not abundant of the labor, but we have a very well-educated people and a talent both. And we are both very technology strong. That's the reason why Singapore and Taiwan are perform very well in the global economics. So, but we are facing the challenge, both countries are facing the challenge in the coming decade, which is how to build a resilient supply chain, because in the past 5 years, the global trade conflict and also the COVID-19 changed the landscape of globalization. So in last year, July 8 in Taipei, there is a supply chain restructure workshop, and during the workshop, they work out some of the guidance and the suggestion. And today, my presentation will be based on the result of the workshop. And from the workshop, I think Taiwan is standing at the forefront of the global supply chain restructure. Same as Singapore, I think although the manufacturing sector of Singapore is not as high as Taiwan, but I believe Singapore will also be impacted like Taiwan in the coming global supply chain restructuring. So let's look at how the globalization grows from year 2000. In year 2001, China joined the WTO. At that year, China manufacturing sector only represent 8% of the global manufacturing GDP. But up to year 2010, China picked up US become the largest manufacturing country in the world. Even nowadays, in 2008, China represent about 25 to 27% of the total global manufacturing sector. So that's the reason we see the deglobalization. Okay, what is the deglobalization? The globalization in the past only consider the cost, low cost, and high efficiency. So we put everything in centralized production in order to increase the productivity and leverage the low cost of China. So in the era of the globalization, this is the more a profit-oriented, centralized supply chain methodology. But because of the US and China trade deficit, from this chart you will see the trade deficit between China and the US start from 0 to up to 420 billion US dollar in year 2008, year by year growth. But at the same time, you see the blue line, that is the US manufacturing population dropped from 21 million to lowest 13 million. So it means in the past 20 years, US lose about 8 million manufacturing employment because of the globalization and because of the trade deficit between US and China. So that is the reason why in year 2018, March 22nd, President Trump imposed 25% tariff on the good shipping from China to US. each about 175 billion. By end of July 2018, US put another 200 billion with the 25% tariff rate. So this create a US and China trade war. So I think that create a G2 dynamics. Means because of the trade war, you see the relocalization of the production base. So this is a very key change from year 2018 up to now. So it's changed from the past 20 years. Everything moved to China, but now you will see the production relocation gradually. Okay, and also the COVID-19 started at the beginning of 2020 from China. It's reshuffle all of the globalization. So we see the global momentum, suspension, disconnection, and isolation. So that's reason why all the manufacturing, all the enterprise, we consider their strategy of globalization. So let's trigger the regionalization. So as I mentioned, the trade war, and it's now coming to the COVID-19, and people start to think about the regionalization, means diversion their production base, and the reshuffling means they will move back their offshore manufacturing back to their home country. And this is just happening now. So why the restructuring of the supply chain is a very, very simple reason. First one is the labor cost of China rising. I still remember in 1996 when I first have a factory in China, the labor cost, monthly labor cost is about 300 RMB. But nowadays, the labor cost in China is up to 7,000 to 8,000 RMB nowadays. So means China is no more a low-cost manufacturing center. And also because of the tariff rate, 25% tariff rate, no one can afford the additional 25% tariff rate cost. So, and the third reason is that because of the COVID-19, the pandemic, so bring the supply chain close to home. For some of the supply chain like healthcare, like the life supporting system and medicine. So they want to control, every country want to control the strategic critical supplier. So they move their supply chain close to home. And the last one is that because of the automation technology, people start to adopt automation technology like IEEE, Industrial 4.0. So allow them to make the product at a higher cost level with automation, but still keep competitive. So how does those companies ship their production line? I think there are four options. For many of the industry, including the ICT, medicine, and also the healthcare and bicycle, and even the solar cells. So first one is relocating to Southern Asia because there they have a lower labor cost, including the Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines. And second option is to move their production out of China. And the third one is the reshuffling, means that move back their manufacturing from China to their home country. And last one is adopt the automation technology. Okay, so TITRA is a Taiwan External Trade Development Council has done a survey on Taiwan industrial, how they changed their supply chain. And during their survey, they found for the least company, in Taiwan, 70% of this company already has deployed their production globally. Only 30% of the company deploy their all production in Taiwan. Means most of this company in Taiwan, like Advantech, are quite globalized. And for the small and medium companies, 35% small and medium enterprise and consider to already deploy their production globally. So this, you see, because as I mentioned earlier, that Taiwan is not the labor abundance country, and our domestic market is small. We need to be globalized. We need to move close to the market. And according to the survey, in the last 2 years, since the 2018, the US and the China trade war, and you see Taiwan manufacturing has already moved. First one is the 28% of the Taiwanese company moved back of their manufacturing back to Taiwan. And 16% remain their manufacturing site at China. But 42% ship their production line to Asian countries, including Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. And definitely Vietnam is the higher priority. And about 66.2% shipped to the Western country, including US, Mexico, and Eastern Europe. So this is the situation of past 2 years. But in the next 3 years, when the survey asked in the next 3 years, 53% of the Taiwanese company will move back their manufacturing back to Taiwan. And you see only 8.2% consider to remain at China, which is the drop about 50%. And the 25% will continue to ship to Asian country. And the 10% will ship to Western country. And you see US is the number one, is about 5% of the Taiwanese company will consider to move their production line to US. So Singapore, I think same as Taiwan, you need to seriously consider this trend. I believe you will be benefit from the Taiwanese company redirect their manufacturing to Asian country, because Singapore is the center of Asian country. You provide the management and the knowledge and the technology to those countries. Okay, so in conclusion, that the Taiwanese is trying to diverse their production base, and they move close to the market, and they believe that diversify is very important in order to minimize the risk like COVID-19 and the China-US trade war. Okay, how about Japan? Okay, you understand Japan has a huge investment in China in the past 20 years, including home appliance and the automobile manufacturing. But you know, Japanese government has allocated $22 billion to help their Japanese enterprise to move out from China. And you see that the 7% of Japanese will move back to Japan. And 25% of Japanese will move to Vietnam. And 14% will move to Thailand. So you see, again, Southern Asia is very important. And how about Korea? And Korea is, in the short term will still rely on China quite high. 75% of the enterprise in Korea will still keep their transaction with China, and they rely on the government to help them to diversify their production line. And how about North American? This is the report done by Bank of America on their customer. How will they redirect their production line globally? So for the customer in North America, you see 40% of the North American customer decide to ship their production back to US. 40% decide ship to Southern Asia. Only 20% remain unchanged. And for their customer in Asia Pacific, excluding China, 20% were shipped to US, 50% were shipped to Southern Asia. And no change, no shifting is only 20%. And for the customer in Europe, 20% of the European enterprise were considered to ship to North American, to cross to the market. 30% were shipped to Southern Asia, and 50% to other locations, and 10% unchanged. So from this report, you can see a very big picture. That is most of the manufacturing in China considered to move out from China and relocate to mainly to Southern Asia and their home countries. So this is a paradigm shift. So in the past, Taiwanese company ship their material to China and make in China, and then ship the final good to advanced market. Now change to two model. We continue to maintain some manufacturing in China, but we try to develop the new southern-bound strategy. Means that we will develop our production site at a Southern Asian country and ship the final good to advanced market. And for some of the strategic consideration, Taiwan start to looking for collaboration with the like-minded partner. Means that the partner share with us with the same value. So we were considered to collaborate with those partner and diverse our production line to emerging market. Okay, so all the strategy I just mentioned, I call it resilience supply chain 1.0. It's including relocation of the production base and the regionalization, diversification, and also reshuffling. But this is not enough. Up to date, we still facing the shortage of chipset, and also the disorder of logistics, and also the supply chain inflation. So in the past 1 year, because of the semiconductor very focused in Asia, it caused many of the automobile company in US, Japan, and Europe out of production line. And also the the Eastern in Suez Canal that stopped all the shipping from China, shipping from China to Europe. So and also the logistic cost in the past 1 year increased about 5 times. So this is the disorder of all the logistics. So this is the resilience 1.0 is not enough. So we coming to the resilience supply chain 2.0. What is supply chain 2.0? So next, I'd like to elaborate 7, 8, 9 strategy for the supply chain resilience. First one is the 7 keyword. Remember 7 keyword. First one is the create value. You need to create your own value as an enterprise through digital transformation and innovation. And you need to share value with your trusted partner. And you need to find in the collaboration with your partner, no matter where, no matter in US, in China, in US, in Europe, you need to build up the collaboration. And the last one is the sustain value. Nowadays we are talking about the carbon neutral and also zero carbon for the ESG, environmental, social, and governance. So this is the 7 keyword as an enterprise you need to consider in order to build your resilience. And second one is the A maps. You need to understand where is the market. As I mentioned, that both Taiwan and Singapore are small country, small economic body. We need to rely on the global trading. We need to develop market globally. So I like to highlight a major market in the world, including North American, Europe, China, Southern Asia, Southern Middle East, Africa, and Latin American. And among that, I think North America is the most important because North America represent about 26% of the global GDP. And North America is the technology leader and also the drive for growth. For Europe, it's 25% of the global GDP. It's a very, very green technology-centric region, and it's the driver for digital transformation. And China definitely is a big market with 70% of global GDP, one belt, one road strategy. But China will turn itself to a more domestic economics. And this is a very key change for China. And Southern Asia, I mentioned many times, will become a very important manufacturing hub in the world. So as I mentioned, North American is very important, especially I see some of the country, some of the manufacturing move their manufacturing to Mexico. In Mexico, Canada, and US, they form up USMCA agreement. So all the goods made in Mexico are zero tax shipped to US and Canada. So I see many of the companies start to build up their manufacturing site at Mexico. And Europe, as I mentioned, that the V4 country, Poland, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Hungary is a very important manufacturing base for Eastern Europe. And Turkey is the bridge between Europe and Asia. So you need to consider how to build your resources in these two areas for Europe. And China, as I mentioned, we're turning inward and moving toward transformation. And they want to develop their technology independence from US and Europe. So in the future, you will see the domestic demand where the main focus of China for the future economic development. And Southern Asia, as I mentioned, very, very diverse, where you see Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines are very important base. You need to deploy your resources. And also definitely India is another area we need to consider. Okay, so this is the where you need to consider to deploy your manufacturing resources from R&D to manufacturing to sales to technology. And the last is the partner area, how to build your partnership in order to make yourself as more resilient. First one, you need to create intelligent ecosystem for a new supply chain. And secondly, always consider the commercials new technology means innovation. And looking for JV and merge to build your supply chain more resilience. Okay. And also the Indo-Pacific infrastructure development will be coming leading by US and Europe, will be coming very, very important for all the countries in this region, in Asia. And the very important thing, especially for Taiwan, we are looking for form of alliance with the like-minded countries. Only those countries share with us the same value system is our partner. And also, six is how establish your industrial alliance. And more important is the cultivation of talent. As I mentioned, that both Taiwan and Singapore are not have abundance of talent. We are not have abundance of labor. We need to rely on innovation and talent. And number 8 is the software and hardware integration. And the last one is disruptive innovation. This is the 9 partner area every enterprise need to consider. You want to build resilience supply chain in the coming deglobalization age. Okay, so this is the conclusion of my today's sharing that all the enterprise in Singapore or in Taiwan, especially on those small economic body, we need to think how to build your resilience supply chain in the deglobalization age. And I believe the deglobalization is just begin. So you will see more and more serious conflict between US and China, even China with the world. So that we are in the region. So we will be heavy impact by this kind of global conflict. So we need to build up our resilience as soon as possible. So this is the end of my presentation. I wish my sharing will give you some thought how to make yourself move more strategically with a more vision in order to build a resilience capability to yourself. Thank you very much for your listening, and I wish the success of today's forum. And let's keep in touch. I wish someday I can be physically attend this forum in Singapore. Thank you. Bye-bye.